my name's Susan Ross. I'm head of projects at Edge Innovation. I was also involved in setting up the Derwent Valley Carclub. This project is a collaboration between the Derwent Valley Carclub and Edge Innovation, where we're using human-centered or design-led thinking to try and understand how we could create a car club in a box, which is a package of support for other communities so that they can actually develop local community-based car clubs in particularly rural areas, but across England, Scotland, wherever. So it's about packaging that learning, and the research through this project is to really understand what needs to be in that box. Is it replicable? Do people need it? In terms of testing it, it's really useful to look at the SoRA dashboard to make sure that we're considering it from all angles. We have a very social-based scheme. So I think generally, that's a key factor in terms of what we develop and how we develop it, but it's always good to get another perspective on that as well. I think that this is something we've done a lot of work on within the research project that we've done. We have tried to have a really wide range of stakeholders, from policymakers such as Alex to very localized communities.
Is there anything around how parking might change? Do you have more community car clubs? They would have to be parked somewhere, and that might be at the expense of some private parking or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's about, for me, making sure that we really consult with people when we do things, because yes, there could be some loss of car parking, but at the same point, because we're removing, I think 22 vehicles per car club vehicle are now being removed off the road, then in theory, if you took 22 vehicles out of that area and put one car club bay in instead, then that's a huge big saving for people.
Yeah, I think that's probably higher then. Yeah, I mean, it's sort of like reinforcing the statutory process as well, which is obviously really good for the local authority as well. Like in a few strategies, we talk about a car club model, and we also talk about community transport as things which have positive co-benefit for society. So I think probably high, personally.
It's interesting though, because I do wonder whether is there more we could do in that respect? Is there any way that we could actually join up some of the thinking a little bit more to actually, if people are going in a similar direction or making a similar trip, could you do more of that together and more collective travel? I guess that's the point of this, isn't it? It's questioning yourself and, wondering whether there are other ways of doing things more.
I think you guys are kind of asking for more to be done on car clubs, rather than sort of, you are content with what the government is already doing on car clubs. So probably high is most appropriate.
It's interesting though, because if we had not necessarily undertaken the TRIG programme, then we wouldn't have scored as highly. I think it makes you question the way you work and making sure you really are considering all of those different stakeholders and the impacts, negative and positive, because quite often we think very highly about the positive impacts of what we're doing, and sometimes there are negative ones that we don't necessarily look into as much. I think particularly had we not scored as highly as we did, because of the research work we've undertaken on this project already, then I think it would have been really interesting in terms of what advice and support that would maybe point us to actually think about how we make those changes.